السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن والاه. Inshallah, with another golden piece of advice from the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And the advice that I wanted to share with you today is from the great companion Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. It is related that he said, ما دمت في صلاة فأنت تقرع باب الملك ومن يقرع باب الملك يفتح له. He said, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, that as long as you remain in salah, you are knocking on the door of the king. And whoever knocks on the door of the king, it is opened for him. SubhanAllah. As long as you are in salah, you are knocking on the door of the king. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Malik. One of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Malik. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Al-Malik Al-Quddus. He is the king, he is the king of kings. He is the sovereign of sovereigns, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when we are in salah, we are at the door of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, knocking on the door, knocking on the door. And Abdullah ibn Mas'ud is saying that whoever knocks on the door of this king, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the giver, the generous, the kind, the merciful, the compassionate, the loving, whoever knocks on the door of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, some fath opens for that person. Yuftah lahu. Some opening is given to that person. You don't leave the door of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala empty-handed. Even a generous person in this world, somebody who is known for their generosity, a human being who is known for their generosity, when a beggar comes to the door of that generous person, he does not expect to leave empty-handed. He doesn't know what exactly he's going to receive, but he will receive something. He will receive something. And so whenever we turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in salah, as long as we are in salah, we are knocking on the door of Allah Azza wa Jal. And the longer that we stay, the more we will probably receive. If we just come for a little bit and then leave quickly, we will still receive something, but perhaps little. But the longer that I stay at his door, the longer I keep knocking, the longer I keep asking, the more I can expect to receive from him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, he may not give me exactly what I'm asking for. He may not give me exactly what I'm asking for. In fact, I may not even be asking for anything. But he will give me something. He will give me something. And that something is that which will benefit me somehow, either in a worldly sense, or in a spiritual sense, or in a heavenly sense. Some fatah, some opening. It could simply be that I leave the door of Allah Azza wa Jal cleansed of my dhunub. What an opening is that? It could simply be that I leave the door of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala having developed a connection with Him. What a tremendous opening is that? Or it could be that I leave the door of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with Him granting me something of this world that I have been wanting or that I have been needing. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, whenever أهمه أمر فزع إلى الصلاة, that whenever some concern came to him, something overwhelmed him of concern, of worry, he would rush to salah. And he would find in salah that fath, that inshirah al-sadr, that opening, that opening of the chest, that opening of the chest, the ability to take on the challenges of this world. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had advised him to do that in the Quran. And when we do that, if we do it properly, not in a rush, like I said, look, if we're there, we could leave quickly, we'll receive something. But the longer we stay, the more, the fuller, with full presence, the more of us that stays in that salah, the more that we can expect to receive from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's not just about duration either, it's also about the frequency of salah. The more frequently I come to the door of Allah Azza wa Jal, the more frequently I receive divine gifts from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the question then is, how many times do I knock on the door of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And am I really knocking on His door? Am I really performing salah? Or is it simply a movement of up and down, but my heart is connected with something else? If I'm at the door of Allah Azza wa Jal, knowing where I am, expecting His gifts, then I will not be returned empty-handed. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us at His door. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us at His door, regardless of whether we get from Him what we want or not, because we will get something from Him. Because whoever is at the door and knocking on the door, it will eventually be opened for him. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us and forgive us for our shortcomings. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. What's your name? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This young man right here, he just told me his grandfather passed away. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Is your father here? His father is back there in the white thobe. غفر الله لميتكم. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive him. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant him mercy. Where did he pass away? In France. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala envelop him with His mercy. Allahumma aghfir lahu warhamhu wa'afihi wa'afu anhu wa akrim nuzulahu wassi' mudkhalahu waghsilhu bil ma'i wal thalji wal barad wa naqqihi min adh-dhunubi wal khataya kama yunaqqa ath-thawbu al-abyadu min ad-danas. Allahumma abdilhu daran khayran min darih wa ahlan khayran min ahlih wa alhiqhu bis salihin wa adkhilhu jannatika jannatin na'im بغير حساب يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم وسع قبره ونور قبره واجعل قبره روضة من رياض الجنة ولا تجعله حفرة من حفر النار. اللهم ثبته عند السؤال. اللهم ثبته عند السؤال. اللهم تقبل حسناته واغفر لسيئاته وارفع درجاته في جناتك العلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم اشف مرضانا واشف مرضى المسلمين وارحم موتانا وارحم موتى المسلمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصل اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.